My friends, let me pose a hypothetical to you. Let's say that you're a public figure, media figure, and you have a bit of a large following online, say 300k subs on YouTube, 150k followers on Twitter. You're the chief Australian correspondent for an independent news outlet that has international correspondents all over the world. You've appeared on national television multiple times. Now, in this hypothetical, if you found yourself in this position, if a certain YouTuber with a paltry 14 subscribers was to make a video criticizing you, would you respond to that channel? Would you even acknowledge it? Somebody with that little online presence, would you even take notice of them? It's kind of a dicky thing to say, looking down the little guy, but yeah, I wouldn't take notice of them. I'd shoo them away like I would a fly. And you probably would too. Unless you're Avi Yemini. Look at this, your boy got noticed, the man himself. Oh, sorry, I beg pardon. 130k followers on Twitter. I suppose maybe some of them moving over to Parler with the rest of the Nazis. But yeah, took a clip out of my video that I made of him and puts it on his Twitter. But hey, thanks to the free publicity, Avi, if you're watching. Could have done me the service next time of actually linking my YouTube in the description. As you can see here, I'm browsing in incognito mode because you've already blocked me after I offered some friendly marital advice. But hey, a few people found the original, so thanks for coming over. We're not here today to talk about Avi's absolutely fragile narcissistic personality. No, we're here to get his perspective on Qantas's no jab, no fly policy. So Avi says, I'm no anti-vaxxer, I've had every vaccine, capital V, and so have my children. But like many, I'm a little skeptical about the fastest produced vaccine in history, especially because they're trying to make it mandatory. Well, here's the thing about the vaccine being produced. Yeah, it's been produced quickly, but if if the majority of the medical community signs off on it and says that it's safe, who are we to question them? I don't have a degree in medicine. Do you? And given how deadly COVID-19 is, just look at the United States, there might be some side effects from the vaccine, but we already know there's side effects from COVID-19. I also don't like this wording, especially because they're trying to make it mandatory. We might get into it in the video, but vaccine should be mandatory. Anyway, let's hear what he's got to say.
Last night, Qantas CEO Alan Joyce said that the Australian flag carrier was working on their terms and conditions to make no jab, no fly official Qantas policy. Have a listen. Let me be
Cool. Smart idea. They should. For domestic and international flights.
totally clear. I'm no anti-vaxxer. I've had every single vaccine and so have my children. But like many around the world, I'm a little bit skeptical about the fastest produced vaccine in history. It hasn't been tried or tested, so no one could possibly know if and what the long-term effects really are. And with everything that we now know about this virus, I can understand why so many people will reject this injection and will want to stop their kids from having it.
I don't see the logic. You want to talk about side effects? You know what has side effects? COVID-19. They're called long haulers, people that have long-lasting neurodeficiency, people that have their respiratory system affected, people that have their motor skills affected. So you want to talk about long-term effects? COVID-19 already has that. It's estimated 50 to 80% of COVID-19 recoveries are these long haulers, people with long-term effects. So don't come in here with, oh, the vaccine could have long-term side effects. Well, yeah, you know what is guaranteed to have long-term side effects? COVID-19. And also this stuff about everything we know about the virus. No, we still don't know a lot about the virus. There's still so much information about COVID-19 that we just don't know. We haven't had enough time to study it yet. And yes, the vaccine is being produced quickly, but this is a global effort by medical practitioners around the world. So if globally the majority of them sign off on it and say it's safe, there's no reason not to there's no reason not to take it. And especially because he's saying he's not anti-vax. Well, why are we hearing this then?
To be honest, the vaccine is certainly scarier than the virus when it comes to children. So it raises a couple of questions. Firstly, is it even legal?
Avi, I don't want to insult your intelligence, but you've got children, so you are aware that we give children, like infants, vaccines now. An infant being administered a vaccine has a much lower chance of dying than an infant catching COVID. Let's see what he's got to say about legality.
Well, for those of you who don't already know, we currently have no jab, no pay, and no jab, no play legislation that essentially forces parents to vaccinate their children or suffer consequences that most couldn't possibly bear, such as no childcare and family tax benefits. Now,
guess you should vaccinate your kids then.
Qantas may not be able to get away with this alone. They may need legislation to support them, but in the current climate, let's be honest, I doubt it'll be very hard, as both sides of politics here and around the world seem to have sold their souls to the highest bidder.
But this is like...
Alright, I'm gonna hit you with a hot take. Being anti-vax is being anti-liberty. Refusing to take a vaccine is not an exercise of your bodily autonomy. Refusing a vaccine is impeding on somebody else's bodily autonomy. Broadly speaking, the definition of libertarianism can be people act as they please, save keeping others from doing the same. So you'd think on the surface level, well, refusing the vaccine is exercising that libertarian right. No. It's exercising the first part of it, acting as you please. However, there are some people that have genuine health risks that prevents them from being vaccinated. They rely on the rest of us to take the vaccine to reduce the spread of a disease so that they can walk free and protected, relying on herd immunity throughout our society. So by refusing the vaccine, you're putting them in danger. You exercising your bodily autonomy is infringing on their right to health. So it's anti-liberty to refuse a vaccine. You've got the first part. You do as you please, but by exercising your bodily autonomy, you're keeping someone else from doing the same. Being pro-vax is the libertarian perspective.
Like any vaccine. And as you know, I have a pretty strong view on vaccines, being the social services minister that introduced no jab, no play.
Now you're probably asking yourself, if I'm forced to take that vaccination so I could go visit, let's say, my mum and grandma in Israel, and it turns out there were some of those long-term side effects that people are worried about, will Qantas pick up my medical bill? I doubt it, but I'm sure the government legislation will be built in a way to protect them. So again, is it legal? It likely will be. Is it moral? Abso-bloody-lutely not.
Let me tell you what's not moral. Letting hundreds of thousands of Americans be infected every day. Hundreds, if not thousands of Americans dying from COVID-19 every day. Don't talk about morals and anti-vax in the same sentence. By arguing for an anti-vax perspective, you are not on this side of morality. And again, I'm wondering why you even made this video if you're not anti-vax. And in terms of the long-term effects, again, you know what has long-term effects? COVID-19 affects people's motor skills, people's respiratory function. It affects people's neurological capacity. People can't remember the names of their pets. They forget basic things. Again, 50 to 80% of recoveries are these long haulers. I mean, this is just like conspiracy signaling. This, like Avi and Rebel News knows that a lot of their audience are anti-vax, QAnon, conspiracy theorist types. So while he might not be anti-vax, he has to signal to them, ooh, don't trust it. This is just like cheap clicks, cheap views, cheap likes. This is just QAnon signaling. Avi once again proving that he's anti-liberty, anti-freedom, anti-democracy. We're going to keep covering him in the future. He's somebody in the Australian media that needs to be taken down a peg. Avi, if you watched this video like you watched the last one, hey, you're willing to acknowledge me last time, so I'm going to assume you're willing to acknowledge this one as well. Come on the channel, we're going to have a debate anytime you like. I'm free, whenever you're available. In the meantime, all of you, if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, bombard Avi's DMs saying debate Louis Vuitton. I'll see you all very soon.